Hello, everyone. There I go again. Another big greeting. Welcome to Potato Land, if we want to call it that. The show, the vlog, whichever. My name is Braden. I am your host for the moment. Next 15 minutes. How's everybody doing? And by that I mean I'm not trying to practice emceeing. Just meaning you're out there, and I would only ask if I was going to ignore how I'm doing. So let's skip past that. Actually, a brief update, I suppose, since I've had this Band-Aid on my chin for 3 weeks, and I haven't talked about it the first week. I am willing to go there, and that just means 3 weeks is when all my hairs underneath should start poking through, so that's exciting. I don't know what to tell you. It gets really itchy sometimes. Moving quickly past this, what else is going on? Well, I don't want to waste it this week, but if I'm going to keep saying it throughout the rest of my life, but something on the order of, as long as you're doing something, I'm doing that or worse. You're doing blank, I'm that or worse. Okay, moving on. Trying to, at this point, get over the fact that, gosh, this is a difficult topic. So I'm gonna post in the near future. I'm gonna post on my Instagram, which I've opened up to the public and the wide world or whatever. Oh gosh, we're talking about the program here right now, but I don't really want to. I suppose it's a decent segue for something if I could come up with it off the top of my head. I'm going to put a link for this in front of all my friends or followers' faces. We'll see what happens. That should be kind of exciting. Hello out there if you've already clicked through. I don't know. You watch the viewer count stay the same or drop. I get an average of about 3 views per video right now, at least as far as I know. The reality is I don't check until the next week, and maybe that's just embarrassment or me being shy about it, but if anything goes viral, or if you think something could go viral, steal it, clip it. There are other social media sites out there. And to some extent, yes, I'm still struggling with the fact that you're cool if you have only one going on, right? I don't know what about that makes you rad, or maybe the right word is old school. Okay, so how do we segue from that to maybe what I want to talk about? I want to talk about this week bringing in another segment from the past. I love calling them segments. And that's kind of what the bit is about, is words. We used to do word of the week or something. No. The coolest word that I spoke during this week's broadcast. Hello world, right? So, and I understand this is supposed to be a journal, a video journal, online journal, vlog. But some weeks I don't want to talk about it. And some weeks I do. Very much like writing things down. I wanted to write everything down this week, and I have. You actually saw me peek earlier. I'll tell you where I looked. I'll show you where I looked with my eyes right now. You saw me, but I'm not looking there again. See, I'm covering it. Okay, so that's where I was looking. All right. Where were we? New segment from a revived segment is Word of the Week, I suppose. And I didn't really actually want to do it. We're not doing anything necessarily here, but I wanted to talk of the philosophy behind it, I guess, because that would make it important. Maybe we could talk about a couple words, random words that I wanted to talk about after. Maybe not. But gosh, I'm blanking on the philosophy behind word of the week. Word of the week. Well, maybe I could tell you what happened and I'll remember. A few weeks ago, I was doing something, and I'm sure I've already bragged about it. Go out there, get out into the world, feel the thrill of walking outside, and then try and tackle challenges like, I just came up with this before the episode, didn't write it down, happy to talk outside of the boundaries, but go out and do something that makes your armpits sweat. I think that's, the last time you caught yourself nervously sweating, do that again, right? I'm seeing these stickers. Oh, I might have already mentioned this, but I'm seeing stickers around the place that say "Follow your nightmares." Follow your nightmares. Yeah. Anyway, I was doing something, and multiple people came up, one and then a second one, and they wanted to advise me on how to do the thing I was doing, and I just remember just how, we all know it can be a little bit cringy when somebody tries to advise you to do something, especially if they're a stranger. I don't know, maybe stranger is the best case scenario. Either way, you never really know what's happening. And so I tried to hang in there and take some possibly just purely friendly advice. No reason to think that they're going to walk away thinking I'm so cool. I just, showed off my talent to a stranger. Maybe they're just really trying to help. But they were advising me, and I hung in there. I remember saying, like, easy on the language. It's a time of the year that's supposed to be happy. And he didn't take my joke as well as I would have wanted him to, or more, he didn't understand my humor, per se. There you go, word of the week right there, per se. And I'm sure I use it all the time. And I should actually learn how to spell it. My guess is Perse. Okay, so there you go. Not really a word of the week, is it? Especially if I got that wrong. So anyway, I overthought. There you go. There's the philosophy of the word of the week, I suppose. The philosophy behind it is overthinking and coming up with a word that I could use to sort of combat him. Now, I already told you how I came back at him, because he was the second guy that just came up to me, and he didn't do so much as what the first guy did was, excuse me, sir, or something. He didn't start out with that, right? So I sat on it for a bunch of weeks, talk to a stranger at a park, sort of a thing. I don't believe my armpits were sweating. If they were, it was because I was actively moving around, but at the time. But I came up with like just one of these, like, I'm gonna give him a sentence. This is way after the fact. I'm gonna give him a sentence that'll just like blow him out of the water, and I'll teach him how I'm learning and how I prefer to learn, rather than humor him for the next however long he's gonna be there, 1.5 minutes to 3 minutes or something. And I thought of this sentence, and then I thought, what word do I use? They both have the same pretext. Is that what it is? Pretext? The beginning of the word? It's usually first 3 letters. Pro. I'm not sure what the word is for that. Doing terrible so far during the segment. Within the segment. Yeah, anyway, I don't know. I actually really just want to skip over that now at this point. But anyway, I thought, was I going to say proclivity or propensity to do it the way I want to do it? Or could I just use inclination ultimately? And they're all kind of long words, but inclination is the one everybody uses. Let's settle on that. I certainly, if I'm going to say it next time somebody bothers me about giving me hot tips, I mean, if you're by yourself, That's another thing, right? The first guy was, at least he was with his girl or a lady friend or something. Okay, what do I talk about now? We haven't really done much. I wanted to dive into maybe we could talk a little bit more about what I'm talking about. I don't know. Has anything been fun or funny yet? How about just the how you're doing part of the vlog, which could be, I mean, if I have 3 views every video at this point, I think there's at least 3 in a row. I want to talk about you, not necessarily write it. I'd like to actually answer all the comments in person, really, right? Okay, how about this? Switching subject a tiny bit, but if I see you in person, isn't that better than answering you by text? I mean, it'd be weird to sort of text somebody publicly and then not get a response as well. So understanding that, it would be also be weird if I saw you in public per se. I saw somebody in public that watched my vlog. This is speaking of word of the week, arguable kink, which is looking it up in the dictionary because I, may have not misused it recently. It's actually a formal term, and the informal version is the one everybody uses, which is, how do you say, rated PG talk or something. But the formal version of that word is actually what you think it is, which is like something like unusual behavior or something, or a habit, unusual habit, or both, or whatever. So, what was I getting at with that? My vlog here, if I were to run into you in public, you would have to admit that you recognize me from my vlog. How are we doing on time? Okay, 3 minutes, 4 minutes to go ish. But at least we could. I don't know. So it's like a toss up. I might as well respond to your comments. All right, we got somewhere. I promise not to throw my hands at the camera anymore during this episode, or even move. Let's say. I noticed I've been touching my face a lot. I wanted to get to maybe the final thing, which is a little bit, now this is within the context, I don't want to overuse that word, of doing a vlog, being a person, living a life as, under the radar as it may be. But sometimes some of this stuff comes up in the news and it's the most important stuff, and I'm like, okay, how are you doing? Do you want to talk about the office cooler talk that I might want to talk about? Which is usually, somebody like Elon Musk, and right now it's Andrew, 4-letter word, Tate. And I always like to just get to the point, maybe throw something at you and leave it at that. So just a sentence or two. And I didn't really plan anything to say here, but if I had to boil it down to one sentence, he's been arrested. That's the current situation. I went on his Twitter to see if he was still tweeting. There it is. I would stand by what I said to a person of the public. It doesn't really count as a casual conversation because he wasn't, we were paying to see each other sort of a thing, business. So, gosh, I might as well remind you that I drive for Uber. Since we already talked about kink, I don't want to, mislead anybody. So anyway, what I said to him was probably a little bit controversial. Not quite the point. I'm actually going to butcher it so it can't be chopped up and used weirdly, even though I suppose you could always, what is it called? Artificial intelligence, my face. What is that called? And make me say anything now that all these episodes are up and stuff, right? There you go. I'm trying to think of that word, and that shows you how little I pay attention to the internet in general. but I still pay a lot of attention, especially on the Instagram app, if I might admit. There you go. But before we go, I gotta go. I told somebody, and I do want to stand behind it. It's something like along the line. Oh, you know what it would be? Does Andrew Tate have a mom? Is that his name? Yeah. Does he have a mother? I'm not looking at my notes on purpose. I gotta go. Does he have a mother? And before him, what I said to the member of the public, before him, I said, you know what? I'd really like to leave right now, so we'll just leave it at that. There you go. Not trying to say controversial shit either. Okay, I love you guys. I did want to wrap up by saying, gotta go hand deliver my check for rent. See you next week.